Welcome. Thank you for tuning in and being here with me. Let's just give ourselves a moment to settle, to start to set aside all that toing and froing, and just welcome yourself onto your mat, into your space for today's practice. Raising your base with blanket or cushion or whatever else you feel you might need. Maybe it's being in a chair for a few moments. Just taking a moment to allow for your attention to go from big and expansive from the world around you and slowly let it start to funnel in so that you're paying attention to your innermost world, to your breath, to the sensations in your body. And little by little, feeling a softness start to enter into your experience. That it's okay to be exactly as you are. It's okay to step away from whatever it was that you were doing just moments ago. And truly allowing yourself to default to that inner wisdom over and over again as you go through practice. Listening to the body, exercising that option to do or not do any piece of practice based on how you're feeling. And as you're here, feeling this gradual settling move into your experience, is there anything in particular, mentally, physically, energetically, that you wish to draw in for your practice today? Could be just a want for movement, maybe a deeper connection to breath, perhaps inviting more ease and space into your body, your heart, and your mind. Just opening yourself up to that possibility of bringing in whatever it is that you need today. We'll invite the hands to come and rest somewhere on the body. So, whatever feels genuine as a gesture for yourself right now. Start to expand the container of breath. See if you can invite your inhales and your exhales to gradually get larger, to gradually feel like they're reaching further. And as you continue to expand the container of your breath, can you get to a point where it feels like you are breathing your entire body to the very edges of your physical form, the crown of the head, the tips of your toes, the palms of your hands? You are one giant breathing organism. We come to invite a little bit of sound into this piece of practice. You may choose the vibration of Om. Maybe it's more of a humming. Just finding some way to wake up the vocal cords a little bit. We'll take a clearing breath in. Let it go. Coming to your sound. Feel into those lingerings. Allow the hands to come away from your body. Rearrange the way that you're seated if you feel you need to. We're going to do just probably 2 minutes worth of alternate nostril breath, Nadi Shodhana. And this just helps to balance the energies in the body by purposely activating the left and the right channels, the yin and the yang sides, in equal part. And to do this, we use the right hand to lightly open and close the left and right nostrils. And I usually like to intertwine my ring and pinky fingers so that they kind of stay glued together rather than kind of flailing about willy-nilly. And the pointer and middle finger can either tuck into the palm or you can rest them at the center of your forehead, kind of that third eye marker point. And when you come to block the nostril, it's not a firm pushing on the lower part of the nose. It's about part way up, and it's a very, very gentle pressure to just lightly close off that passage as we breathe from the opposite side. And we'll take our time as we go through this. So it'll be an inhale for 4. We're going to hold the breath with the lungs full for about a count of 6 or 7. And then we slowly release the exhale through the other side and then immediately come into the next inhale. So it's an inhale, hold, release, inhale, hold, release. And we just alternate side to side. Making sure your spine is tall so that we can get more breath into the lungs. And your left hand, the thumb and first finger will come together to make a little loop, Jnana Mudra, and then you let it rest in your lap. So we'll invite the right hand in front of the face, setting up however you're comfortable, tall spine. We'll take a full breath in through both nostrils as they're clear. And let it go. Using your thumb, lightly close off the right nostril, and we inhale the left side. Hold, a little lift through the pelvic floor. Gently close off your left nostril with the ring and pinky finger. Open the right nostril and then exhale. Inhale, right side. Hold the breath. Lightly close right, open left, and exhale. Notice if your body's tensing under this action. Try to soften. Inhale, left. Hold, lift up on the pelvic floor slightly. Tongue could come to the roof of the mouth. And switch and exhale right. Inhale right. Hold. Switch and exhale left. Inhale left. Relax your body, suspend the breath. Close the left, open the right, and exhale. Inhale right. Pause. Switch and exhale left. Last round, inhaling left. Hold. Switch, exhale right. Inhale right. Hold. Switch and exhale left. Right hand gradually comes away from the face. Thumb and first finger join on that hand as well. We'll take a full breath in, the lungs flooding. Hold with the lungs full, lift up through the pelvic floor. Sip in a little more air. And let it go. Inhale fully. Exhale completely. Feel the pelvic floor naturally lift, contain that. Squeeze out any remaining air in the lungs. And breathe in whenever you need to. Gradually, the breath starts to settle back into a deeper but more natural flow. And let's come to stretch out those legs if you happen to have had them tucked underneath you. Just give them a little bit of a shake and a wiggle. Just bearing witness to how your energy is doing after that alternate nostril breathing. And then from here, we're going to keep that left leg long and we're going to bend into our right knee. So you may need to stay up on your blanket or cushion if you've got that little rear tilt to the pelvis. Otherwise, you could remove that if you'd like. Hello, Gizmo. So let's just start by pointing and flexing through that left foot. Point and flex and roll through the ankle. Just waking up into those joints. Oof. And then you could choose to do this Janu Shirshasana, so head to knee pose with the leg active or relaxed. So if you choose to activate the leg, you're going to flex into the foot. So you feel the calves wake up, you feel the hamstrings, perhaps a little bit, the glutes. And we start with a tall spine. Just breathe into this space. And as we come to exhale, we're going to fold forward, and you're not trying to pull your body in a particular direction right now. You're just letting the torso fall in wherever it may. Let the head drop if it feels okay for the neck and the shoulders. Just gently stretching into that back side of our body. In your next inhale, you'll come to uncurl. And now we're purposely going to direct the torso towards that left leg. And we're going to do a little micro flow. So we gradually start to tease open the backside of the body. We're trying to get a little bit more space. So through the exhale, we fold and bow forward. Inhale, we're going to come part way up. Maybe you need to stretch all the way out. And then exhale, fold. Try to reach a bit further down the leg. Inhale, spring back a little bit. And you're just going to keep going through this little ebb and flow motion here. Every time you exhale, letting the hands reach a bit further down the leg where possible. And then next time that you start to fold in, stay there. Use your hands, grab hold of a spot. Let the head bow down towards the knee. And gradually we inhale, uncurl, come all the way up. Left hand to the inside of the leg, right hand behind you near the hip, nice and tall. And we slowly push that left hand into the left leg to help the torso begin to twist here. And just listening to your body. Maybe it's craving a really deep twist this morning. Maybe you need something to a lesser degree. So really just listen to the body, kind of play with things. And we'll unwind, inhaling, coming back to center. Take that right hand to the outside of the left leg, left hand behind you, and twisting in this direction. And we'll unwind, let that go, come back to center, stretch out that right leg, and let's just hang back on our hands, open the body up here. Resist the urge to shake or wiggle. Let the body recalibrate on its own. And now we switch it up so our right leg stays long. We bend into that left knee, and let's start with the point and flex and roll through the ankle. Just make sure you go both ways, just waking up that joint space. Maybe you've been super active to this point today and your feet and ankles are already nice and warmed up. Maybe you're just starting your day and things are a little bit stiff and creaky. So little movements are good. And let that relax. So either coming at your head to knee pose with the leg relaxed, or maybe you choose to activate and flex into that foot. We start with the general folding forward where we're not trying to direct the torso. So we just soften and round in here. Your next inhalation, let the body uncurl from that fold. And now we come to intentionally direct our fold towards that left leg. And we're coming into that micro flow again. So as you exhale, reach down the leg, fold and bow. Inhale, come out. Exhale, fold. And you're just going to follow your own rhythm of breath, listening to your body as you try to encourage a little more space to be a part of your experience. And with your next exhalation, staying in the fold towards that right leg, anchoring with your hands wherever you can, head bowing towards the knee. And gently releasing the hold, inhaling, uncurling. taking the twist to the open side. So the right hand to the inside of the right leg, left hand behind you, pushing that right hand into the leg, slowly straightening up, and then gradually entering into the twist. Breathing wherever you choose to stop. And we unwind from there. Bring that left hand to the outside of the right leg, right hand behind you, sitting up nice and tall, and then venturing into your twist this way around. And we let that go. Come back to center. And we're going to turn ourselves over to tabletop. Padding up those knees if you need to, if you find them a bit sensitive today. And we're going to do a little bit of work for the wrists here. So we're going to start by making a loose fist around the thumb. So the fingers are just gently cupping the thumb, and you're going to rest on your knuckles. Trying to position myself so you can see around Gizmo here. So we're doing this with both hands, a loose fist around the thumb. And then you're going to direct your thumb knuckle towards the mat. So push it forward. We're going to get a nice stretch through that inner wrist. And then you'll draw back and roll towards the baby fingers. Crouch in a little bit. Push forward, stretch along the thumb line, and then draw back into the baby finger. I'll do that just a couple more times. Good stuff. Coming back to your center, release that. Turn the fingers so that they're pointing off to the side of the mat. So my fingers are coming off the mat, my thumbs are still there. And we're just gonna glide side to side here. So listening to the shoulders, you're just gonna let your weight shift from one palm to the other. So your movement might be quite generous, or you may choose to isolate it just based on sensitivities in your body. And if you're okay here and you want to try exploring a little bit more range of motion, try turning the thumb so it points out towards the edge of your mat, the side edge of your mat, and your fingers turn back a little bit more. And we continue with this little gliding motion side to side. And working into the wrists, into the shoulders. And listening to your body as you do this. So respecting any limitations that may be popping up. If you're still okay here and you wish to entertain further external rotation, so this outward movement, you could try spinning your hands as far around as your body will allow and just see how that works for you. And again, just a little bit of a side to side. And then we're going to change that entirely, spin the hands to an internal rotation so the fingers are now pointing towards one another and entertaining that little bit of a gliding again. From here, let the hands come back to where they're most comfortable, most likely pointing forward or slightly turned. And we'll walk the hands back towards the knees, come up to a high kneeling. And from here, you're going to take one hand, push it into the back of the other hand, and just flex into that wrist. And then switch that. So fingers up towards the sky, pull the palm back and let that go. Shake out that side. Oof, all kinds of electricity in that arm. And we'll do the same thing to the other side. So start by pushing onto the back of the hand, fingers pointing down. And then we flex into the wrist the other way, pull the fingers back, open the palm. And we'll let that go. Shake it out. Ooh-wee. All right, so now that we're in our high kneeling, we've released the wrists, which quite often get overlooked. We're going to take our left leg out to the side, see about anchoring into the sole of the foot, but if that's not accessible just based on mobility or other things that might be present, see about letting the sole of the foot lift up a little bit and just push into that inner line of the foot. So we're in our gate pose here, and we're going to go from gate pose and transition into a little bit of a balancing act on the other side, nice and slow though. So we're going to start with our right hand tucked into the low back. So we're immediately opening up through the shoulder, across the chest. And slow and steady on an exhale, that left hand starts to glide down the left leg, and the torso follows just as far as you're willing to go. Your gaze might be down towards your left leg, or you may choose to turn your gaze up and out to the right a little bit. And exhaling, bring the body back to center. That exhale activates the core. From here, this is where our balance comes in. So we'll start to shift the weight further into that right knee. Bring the right hand down to the mat and back a little bit. So not in alignment with the knee, but behind. So you should feel the weight start to shift. That left leg wants to come along for the ride. This might be your half moon balance pose today. You may choose to play with floating that left leg up, flexing into the foot like you were standing on it. And the final piece to this is to explore maybe lifting that left arm up. So this is the kneeling version of a half moon balance. Remember to breathe, engage through your core. And we gently release. Slow and steady bend into the knees. Let yourself come up and bring that left knee underneath you. And we'll switch over to that right side straight away. So the right leg out, anchoring as best you can, either foot flat or pushing to that inner foot. Nice and tall here. We scoop that left hand into the low back, really concentrating on that sense of opening across the shoulder and the chest. Right hand to the leg. Exhale, slowly start to slide into this. Keeping the torso facing forward, and either the gaze is down or up, ideally mirroring what you did the first time through. All about creating that balance in the body. Your next exhalation, use that core energy to bring you back to center. We release that left arm and we start to lean out to the left side. Again, the hand comes behind the knee and the hip, not in alignment with it. So getting your footing, your grounding here, and maybe you stay exactly as you are, perhaps just lifting the arm. Option to float that right leg. Maybe extend that right arm. Breathe. Feel all of those deep core muscles awakening through the many phases of this half moon balance. And then we release. Gently lower down, bend into that knee, and bring that right leg underneath you. We're going to come off the knees in just a moment here, so bear with me. Let's just reach the arms up. Palms join overhead, and then drop those palms behind your head. Breathing here. Reach up. Release the arms down to your side, a little lateral bend or side bend. Exhaling that right arm, reaching down towards the ground. Maybe the fingertips graze the mat. Maybe it's more of just an imagining that you're about to pick something up. Exhale, contract through the core, come back to your center, and then slowly reach out to the left. Just little by little exploring this side bending motion. And exhale, bring yourself back to center. Let's come to tabletop. Stretch out those legs one at a time. Maybe you feel like you would enjoy stretching into a downward facing dog. So you lift those knees, send the hips high. Maybe walk it out. Perhaps there's some other bit of movement your body would enjoy right now. So a little bit of this inner listening, intuitive movement break here in practice. What do you need right now? And go with that. And gently releasing out of whatever your movement practice was. And we'll bring the legs around in front of us, placing your supports underneath you as necessary. Bring the soles of the feet together. So we're making butterfly pose here. So a nice wide diamond shape, and we're going to bounce the legs a little bit. Good stuff. Let that bouncing subside. We're going to take the right hand over to the left ankle or shin, wherever you can reach. And then we bend into that right elbow. So we're starting to lean out to the right side, and hopefully you can start to feel a bit of a stretch in that low left back and hip. And you might be okay to stay here. Gaze could be turned down towards that right shin or knee. You have the option here, if you'd like, to take that left arm and reach it out to the right side, expanding into your side waist even further, getting into the ribs, into the arm. And with the next exhale, to find the right ankle, torso comes back towards center. So your arms are crossed, holding onto opposite legs. We're going to inhale, pull the head, the heart forward, stretch the spine long. And then exhale, chin to chest, push the spine out behind you. Space in those shoulder blades, space in the vertebrae. And gently we come out of that. Keep the left hand where it is, free the right hand. And we start to bend into the left elbow as we lean out to the left side. Gaze down towards your left leg. And maybe you've got that right hand tucked into the low back. Maybe you're stretching that right arm overhead towards the left side if you had done so the first time through. Beautiful deep breaths, no matter which form you've landed in. And then we come to release. Bring that right hand down to the left ankle. The arms are crossed. Torso comes forward. We inhale, pull the head, the heart forward, length. And then exhale, round, chin to chest. Gradually, we let that go, come out, uncross those arms, release those legs. Let's take them wide. Flex into your feet for a moment, wake up those legs, feel the calves, the hamstrings, the groin, nice and tall as best you can. And if you've got that pulling back, maybe your hands need to come behind your sits bones to just help support you here. And you could keep the activation in your legs if you wish, keeping those feet flexed, or you could let the legs relax at this point. We're going to do just a bit of side to side motion here. So as you start to lean out to the right hand reaches towards the left. Maybe your left arm comes over. Maybe you just keep it to your side. And then we're going to inhale, come to center, and we're just switching. So that left arm threads through towards the right thigh. Maybe the right arm is reaching over towards the left. Let's tether this to breath. Inhale, center. Exhale, lean with that little bit of a twist. Inhale, center, and switch. Let's do this 2 more times to each side. And gently releasing all of the effort as you come out of that last one. Legs relax if you had them flexed still. Pause and breathe. Just let yourself feel. And then we'll come to scoop up the legs and lower ourselves down onto our backs on the mat. Draw the knees in towards the chest once you get there. Maybe you default into a bit of rocking. And then we'll release the feet down to the ground. Bring your awareness to your pelvis and that lumbar curve, that little curvature in your low back. As you start to exhale, flatten out that curve. Feel the pelvic floor engage slightly. Feel the tailbone lift up slightly. And then you'll release. Inhale. Body returns to its starting position. Exhale. Abdomen hugs in a little bit. Curve disappears. Inhale, release. So just staying with this very subtle movement for 2 more breaths. Take a moment to pause. Walk the feet a little bit closer in towards your buttocks. Have the legs close together if possible. Pick up your toes and let them wiggle around. This is just a subtle reminder that as we're doing these varying layers of bridge pose today, that it's the drive through the heels that moves us, not a gripping and a pushing out of the toes. So now that we've readjusted the legs, the feet a little bit, let's bring this movement back in and gradually increase the range of motion as well. Always listening to your body, meeting your various edges and just respecting them along the way. Your next exhale, feel the weight in the heels. Slowly tip the tailbone up, and maybe your sits bones come to hover above the mat. And then slowly release, let everything settle back to the mat. Exhale, weight into the heels, feel the hips lift slightly. And release on the inhale. Keep the legs coming towards one another. Exhale, push and lift. Maybe you squeeze the glutes a bit further and another vertebrae or two come away from the mat. So little steps and stages here. And you take the time to pause and just work with a specific layer for a good 2 or 3 breaths before you move on and try to add more or take some away. So the intention is to eventually get to a place where you're potentially lifting most of your vertebrae off the mat and rolling more so into your shoulder blades. But we get there in little increments. So slow lift and slow lower with the inhale. Only you know what's best for your body. So pausing when you feel you've met your end range for the moment, and just keep working into that space. And the next time that you come to lift, to whatever degree that you are entertaining currently, hold yourself there. And if you're lifting fairly high, try tucking your shoulder blades and your shoulders underneath your body a bit more. Keep squeezing and lifting wherever you're at. The weight is in your heels. And with your next inhale, slowly release. Let everything come back down towards the ground. And just let yourself rest here. Maybe the arms open out to the side like a T, or they come more into the cactus arms with a 90-degree bend in the elbow. We entertain a bit of twisting in the body before we find rest. So we'll cross the right knee over top of the left one. Pick up the hips slightly, scoot them out to the right side a little bit, set them down. We're going to come at this in little stages. So with your next exhale, let your knees drop to the left slightly and then pause and hold. Exhale, let the legs drop about halfway down, and again, we're going to hold. And one more time, exhaling all the way down and in. Maybe the left hand finds those twisted legs and supports the body into the twist. Releasing any bind you may have. Exhale, draw the legs back to center. Readjust if necessary. And we're going to do that one more time on this side. So your next exhalation, drop the legs in part way, pause and hold. Drop a bit further down, pause and hold. And then come all the way in as far as your body will allow. And maybe you explore drawing those knees higher up towards your arm, your shoulder. Releasing the holding, exhaling, bringing everything back to center. Uncross the legs, square off your hips underneath you, and just take a moment to be with those lingering sensations. And we take our twisting the other way around. So crossing that left knee over the right one. Lift your hips slightly, guide them out to the left, set them down. Working in stages. Exhale, drop the legs to the right slightly, pause. Drop them a bit further off to the right side, about halfway down, and pause. Come all the way down towards the ground, right hand perhaps bracing you into that twist. Breathe there. Releasing any binds that may be in place. Exhale, use the contraction to bring your knees back to center. A moment here before we do that little twisting in stages. As you're ready, exhaling, drop part way in, hold. Exhale, drop even further and hold. And come all the way down, and maybe you draw those knees higher up. Beautiful deep breaths here. Your next exhalation, bring those legs back to center. Uncross, square off the hips underneath you, and pause. You could invite your head to gently roll from one shoulder to the other while you're here. And if you're moving the head, let it come to rest in a neutral space. Scan the body. Having that little conversation with yourself. What version of Shavasana would best suit you right now? If the low back is tender, you can keep the feet to the mat. Let the knees just tip towards one another at the center. Maybe you stretch out long, starfish, take up as much real estate as you'd like. Perhaps a blanket tucked underneath your knees. just determining where your resting pose needs to be for practice today and letting yourself set into that. And then giving yourself the permission to be still for a little while. Allowing for thoughts and feelings and sensations to just flow on through without grasping or resisting. Just breathe and allow. Where else might you be able to let go? Allowing for the body to get heavier and heavier with every passing moment. Just this. Your next breath becomes longer than the one that occurred before it. Entering back into this place of feeling the entirety of your body breathing. And you then come to invite movement back in as you wiggle fingers and toes, roll through wrists and ankles. And just gently loving yourself through this little wake up process as you bring your practice to a close. Taking your time as you eventually find your way through towards sitting. And as you find yourself in a place where your spine realigns itself between heaven and earth, let the hands come to rest somewhere on your body. As you breathe and feel into these last moments of practice, offer gratitude towards yourself. for the time, the space, the energy that you've dedicated to this practice. And we give thanks to all the puzzle pieces that fell into place to allow us to connect and share these practices together. Inviting the hands to join at the heart, a single om or a humming to close our practice, a clearing breath in and setting it free. Finding your sound. Light in me bows to the light in you. Namaste.